So the reason why the motivation behind this Zoom call, I had several guys emailing me, texting me, calling me the last few weeks, and just asking me, "Hey, Randy, what are guys doing in December? We're just trying to figure it out." So, I talked to several guys and had some ideas what different guys were doing. So, I shared a few things, but the more I got those phone calls, I said, "Hey, why don't we let's do another Zoom call? We've not done one of these since early on, since the summer probably when COVID first started. And everybody's trying to figure out what to do." That's why we put this together. So I asked 7 or 8 different guys from different parts of the country, different degrees of restrictions, to just share a few thoughts. And, we'll have just kind of a roundtable, just kind of discussion through some of it afterwards as well. So Randy's got to go here in a little bit. Randy's up in Iowa, up in where it's sunny and about 80 degrees today, I believe. So
it's snowing.
They're getting ready for their Christmas, and they've already done a lot of planning for it and have some stuff, exciting stuff ready to go. So what I would encourage you guys to do, get your pencil out or pen and a notebook and just jot some ideas down. You're going to hear probably a lot of different things. There may be some overlaps, some guys doing the same things or similar, but no bad ideas, just shooting some ideas together. So Randy, share some of what you guys have got planned in Iowa.
Sure. Well, first of all, I want you to know I'll come back later and listen to the recording to hear what everybody else says. And so here's what we're doing. We are allowed to meet as long as we social distance and sanitize here. So I praise the Lord for that. Here's what we're doing for Christmas. We've taken our kids' Christmas play. It's online. We're doing it in such a way, so we've already pre-recorded all the little segments. Even families who stay at home can have their kid sing along to a soundtrack, and we'll put them in our kids' Zoom choir. That's what I call it. And then on the particular night that we'd normally have it, we're going to put it on social media. And our plan is we're going to have more people watch this than ever used to come in person, because we're going to get all of our families to share it so all their relatives can then watch it. And of course, there'll be a gospel presentation in it. So that's what we're doing with the kids' play. We are also doing another Sunday night, a drive-through nativity. We've done a living nativity before where people stop and pet the animals and come inside for, cocoa and cookies and stuff like that. Well, this year we decided we needed to make some adjustments. So this year it's pure drive-through. And for us, it's a big deal. And, we have hundreds of people come to this. But, it's not too late, I suppose, if you can pull some things together. You could still do a drive-through, just simple living nativity, and even your church folks would enjoy that. We're doing it where people who don't want to get out of their cars don't need to. They'll get the full deal. But if they want to, they can pull around to the side, come in the side entrance, and still have cocoa and cookies for those that want. Then also, we're going to live stream. We're live streaming our Christmas Eve candlelight service, and what we're doing is we're having the little candles available here the Sundays before the 24th, so families can take the candles home. We're also going to invite anybody who doesn't have the internet. They can actually come in person. For me, that's about 50 people that don't have the internet or don't know how to operate it. They're going to be allowed to come, but I just can't have, 400 people here on Christmas Eve. So, and then my music minister and I and my wife, we're still going to do all the carols and read the Christmas story and then sing Silent Night to Candlelight. So if people pull it up on the church YouTube channel on their big flat screen television, they'll still get the full feeling of a candlelight service. And then just one last thing, and we started doing this back in May, but now we're delivering Christmas gift bags to every family who's not attending. And for us, that's at 100, well, it's 111 families that they're watching from home, and they're getting delivered to their house next week, just a gift bag. And it's got, I had some ladies make cookies, and then they bagged them up in the little cellophane packages. They're getting some the little communion packs so that those families can take communion with us on the first Sunday of December, which we call Christmas communion. They're getting their candles for Christmas Eve in that gift bag. They're also getting, believe it or not, Hostess has a Christmas Twinkie and a Christmas cupcake. Costs like 11 cents. I already pre-ordered from the Daily Bread a Christmas devotional that everybody gets, and then my music minister put together, and they're all getting a CD of some Christmas music that groups in our church sing. So it'll be very nice. And every time we've done these targeted gift bags, I mean, I get emails and texts, just people thanking me till the kingdom come for being kind and thoughtful and not forgetting them. And that's been one of my big goals this year, is if you've chose to watch from home all the time, we haven't forgot you. And I'm telling you, you may say, well, that'll cost a lot. Hey, I'm telling you, these folks give online or mail their checks in, and that's not why we do it. But believe me, it's worth it to make people feel that they're not forgotten. So there's just a few things that we're doing, but I got a few minutes. If somebody has a question, I can still do that.
Yeah, anybody want to have a question for Randy about anything? Maybe you go over the gift bag or questions. If not, we'll move on and he can get to his funeral.
And as far as the delivery is also a big task on that many gift bags. I just picked somebody responsible in my church who needs some money. We pay them out of our benevolence fund to deliver all the gift bags. I mean, I help them organize the routes and stuff, but I mean, I don't always have to do it personally, because 110 gift bags, that's about 3 or 3.5 days of delivery work.
Yeah, that's a big job.
I just think it's it's fantastic of Randy. He's just paying attention to his church family. So often we pay so much attention to visitors and stuff, but you're paying attention to your family, and you know your family best, and you know how best to respond to them. So that's fantastic. That's great.
Thanks, Phil. Okay, guys, you have a great morning, and
thank you,
if you
Randy.
don't mind, keep my teen pastor in your prayers. I'm telling you, he's tough. He's in a tough spot.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep praying for him. Praying for you now as well as you do this funeral, Andy. Thanks for joining us. So Randy's far north up in Iowa. Daniel Woodcock's way down south in Alabama. He's not a Roll Tide guy, though.
No.
He's not far from, you're just outside Birmingham, so not too far from Tuscaloosa. But are they going to win the championship this year?
That's what they say here. That's the rumor. So they didn't win last year, so we're due another one.
Yeah. Hey, Daniel, talk a little bit. What are some of the restrictions like down south in Alabama? Are you under pretty tight restrictions?
Well, I think we're a little blessed in the sense in Alabama where our restrictions are a lot different. Churches still have a lot of, authority here within the state. Sorry, my daughter's chilling with me today. And we don't have any state mandates. Churches are actually exempt from any of the state mandates for COVID. There are some recommendations, and so obviously we follow along with all the recommendations. Masks are not required in our services. We do social distance. We've spaced out our chairs. But overall, some of the things that we're doing this year, just tackling, obviously we have people watching from home. We're overall probably down about a third in terms of in-person attendance and online. So this year what we're doing is we just launched a fun video on Sunday, and we're doing a Christmas at the Movies series. It starts this Sunday. And so we're just taking Christmas movies, pulling the truce. I mean, for those of you guys who know how to do at the movies type stuff, that's what we're doing. We'll have inflatables set up at our church to give people who are showing up in person just that fun experience. We have a lady who's making all of these just holiday goodies and cookies, and we'll have them there. And usually instead of self-serve, we'll be serving it to people. We'll have hot chocolate and apple cider bar, again, that we'll serve people. Then all our guests will be receiving a free movie pass to our local theater. So those are some of the things that we're doing this year for Christmas.
Good. I like that. The guests are getting a movie pass. Are any of the theaters open?
Yeah, well, our theater did open. Everything is restricted. So actually, we rented, because we have a great partnership with our theater, we've rented 2 of the theaters. And on December 4th, we're showing the movie Elf. And so it was inexpensive. I think it cost us like $4 a person. And so we've rented 2 theaters Friday night. They're going to offer concessions at a discounted rate. And so families can actually sign up. That way they can, keep the theaters spaced out appropriately. But they can actually sign up and then come watch the movie Elf in theaters. So
Now, is that for your church members, or is that just for anybody that wants to go?
it's for anyone that signs up. So we use it as a way, one, as a connection for our small groups. And then we use it as a way for our people to invite their friends. Someone who may not show up in church can actually show up there. So we have it, since we keep it restricted in regards to how many people sign up and show up, they have to sign up online.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's very cool. Anybody have any questions for Daniel? What they're doing? All right, Daniel, thanks. I appreciate it. I know you're doing some work today too, so I wanted to get you in
You're
early.
good.
Hey, let's go across a couple states from Alabama to Texas. Mike Marcellus you guys have been seeing a lot of what he's doing, through Thanksgiving and their even their Halloween, their Fall Fest stuff with their pumpkin patch. I love to see all that Mike's doing. Mike, talk a little bit about, well, first, what kind of restrictions do you guys have in Austin?
Austin's pretty strict. We can only use 25% of our capacity as far as services are concerned. That doesn't. It means we distance our chairs, and we do all the masks and everything. But our governor, who supersedes that, gives us no restriction. He's not buckled in this. He did it one time, but now he's loosened up. Good. So that's our restriction concern.
Yeah. I knew you'd have a lot in Austin, the blue dot and the red state, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a lot more blue dots in Texas now than there used to be.
Yeah. We
what are you guys doing for Christmas?
Yeah, what we have planned for Christmas is a lot like what we've been doing. So in December, every Saturday, and what we were doing is we were distributing food boxes and giving out all kinds of Amazon goods and things that our corporate donors give to us. We pass it along. So we have 2,500 people following on our church site that follow all of our things that we open up. So in December, we have the first Saturday, which is December the 5th. We have what we're doing is we're connecting with, I'm sorry, wouldn't you know it? We are connecting with Brown Santa, which is the sheriff's department. And so we are setting up where we had our pumpkin patch, which drew 3,120 people on our fall festival. So we have been advertising to all of them our Brown Santa. What we'll do is we have our train set up, we have our picture places set up, we have vendors set up, and it draws a lot of people. And then we are taking canned donations for the sheriff's department. And we feel like that we will get about 1,000 people that Saturday. And hopefully we'll get a can per family that comes, which will probably be 250 to 500 cans that then we will give to the sheriff's department to help feed people for Christmas. What we also do is Christian Compassion Center then sets up, and that's our ministry, we set up a prayer tent, and we will give out sheets that come from one of our corporate donors, and they're 5-star hotel sheets, pillows, comforters, blankets, towels, all those things that come from a place called Brook Linen. and we set up a prayer tent. People come to that on October 31st on our fall festival. We had 16 people that prayed and received Christ as their Savior. So
That's awesome.
in that setting, we will hand out brook linen to every person that comes to pray at the tent. Then on the 12th, the next Saturday, we are partnering with a group called Do Good ATX, Austin, Texas. This is a group that distributes toys. And so we will set up, we will do the same thing. We will have our train going, which is a huge draw for children. And we will have people that will drop by toys. And we're raising as a community effort for toys to give out for Christmas through this group called Do Good ATX. And we'll do the same thing that we did the previous Saturday. And then on the 19th, we have a partnership with a group called Hungry Souls. This is a group that feeds families. And it's a huge thing in our part of town. And we'll do the same exact thing. We'll set up a prayer tent. We'll have probably 12 to 15 vendors that will set up canopies, and they sell different goods or they give away goods and stuff. And we'll do the same thing. We'll have our prayer tent set up. Our goal is in all of these things is to give out the gospel, to lead people to Christ, to raise toys for the community, raise food for the community, to partner with groups to help the community. As most of you know, our church is a very poor church. We're in the second lowest economical neighborhood in the city. But a lot of our partners love to give towards this, and so hardly a dime comes out of our pocket. We have corporate sponsors, we have other churches, large churches on the nice side of town will come over and actually bring their people to help in greeting, witnessing, and partnering with us to reach out. One of the things that we will do, like Randy was talking about, is that we have food boxes. We had one donor that gave me $5,000 to buy food boxes, to buy gift cards, to give to families. So we gave out 70 gift cards Sunday to families, one per family, to help them for Thanksgiving. We'll do the same thing at Christmas on the 20th, I believe it is. And we'll do the same thing, and we'll give out gift cards to help families. So that's some of the things that we're doing for Christmas.
Well, that's some of the things. That's a lot of stuff. I love how you're partnering with other organizations in your community. So where you're really working with others, and I think that's a great idea. Any questions for Mike about what they're doing? How'd you find all these partners? I know you've been in Austin forever. Is that part of it?
So in 2 weeks, I'll have planted our church 35 years ago. And as Jim Bays can tell you, just the longevity will give you a lot of contacts. And so that's the main thing is we have a good name for our church. I've guarded my name as best I possibly can. And so we can go just about anywhere, get endorsed by anybody. And people have just by association said, hey, you need to meet these people. They do this. And so I take every chance, every door that opens up, I go and I sit down with people and I partner with them. And therefore the police, the sheriffs, the businesses, the other groups that help, they actually call me up and they say, hey, we would like to partner with you. And that's how this has happened, is they just say, we would like to, for instance, we have a semi truck in October every Saturday, a truck with 1,400 boxes of food at $45 a box came and dropped off food, and we distribute it. Lines upon lines upon lines came, 3-4 hours worth of people would come by and get boxes. that was all by word of mouth. People introduced me to other people. They said, hey, would you like to be a part of this? We can send you this through a government grant. And you can have this food and distribute it. And so, and it comes and goes. We thought we were going to do this till the end of the year, but then they called and said, nope, they've rerouted this. It's going to Houston and San Antonio. So it comes and it goes.
Yeah, so take advantage of it when you have it. So
right.
That's good. That's great stuff. Let's head across the country to probably the most where there's no restrictions at all in Southern California.
Yeah.
So Jim, tell us what's happening in on the island life that you're living over there.
Well, first of all, I want to say from all the guys I've heard from so far, I hate you all because you have no restrictions or limited restrictions. We are totally restricted. We are not to have indoor meetings, and some of the churches have elected to have outdoor meetings. They are still allowing that. However, if you've ever been to my church where I am now, we have no outdoor, we have no parking lot. I drive by churches, I drive by my own church and I covet asphalt, just because they actually have a parking lot. And I mean, I have a bike stand in front of my church, literally, and people ride their scooters and their bikes and park. So we have no outside to really accommodate even a small portion of our crowd. We've had 3 different shutdowns so far. Our Governor Newsom, some call Mussolini, he has shut us down 3 times. The first time we went along with it totally. We complied with it. We wanted to make sure we didn't get anyone sick. We wanted to make sure no one in our congregation died as a result of being introduced to the virus in our church. The second shutdown was when a lot of questions started popping up, and some churches said, you know what? Enough is enough here. And I mean, not having had any cases in their churches and still being told to shut down a second time. So I took the position, we're in a military community, obviously, huge military community. So there's a lot of respect for chain of command. So I'm kind of feel like I'm walking a tightrope in we need to meet. That's what a church does. They assemble, they meet. But at the same time, we need to be careful of our testimony in our military community. Anywhere, of course, but so we didn't lock the doors. We initially in the first shutdown, we had no more than 10 people in the building. We immediately launched into our live streaming, which we had never done before, and my guys put it together. I was amazed. The second shutdown, we went ahead and did not lock the front doors, and so we had groups. We started building again in our attendance. All-time high attendance for the church. Of its 60-some years of existence, just before the first shutdown. Then this third shutdown, not only is it not, you're not supposed to meet inside, there's a curfew now from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. I guess the virus doesn't strike except for from 10 o'clock at night until 5 in the morning. I don't know, but at any rate, oh, by the way, our governor now is on quarantine. I think that's kind of interesting. He was caught meeting at some fancy restaurant with a bunch of his friends, and now they're on. And
didn't have his mask on.
He didn't have a mask on. Nope. And now we have done the whole time. We've done the sanitizing of all facilities after every service. We have masks. We have gloves. We did social distancing on the seating. But technically, we're not supposed to be meeting inside. So I sent out another memorandum when our governor issued this third shutdown I think it was Friday. I wrestled with this decision. As I told you, I was really wrestling with it. And we have some churches that are being fined thousands of dollars every service they meet out here in California, every single service. I heard one church up in north of us has got about $300,000 worth of fines. So we decided that I wasn't going to lock the doors again, but I put out a memorandum saying the governor said, and so we had about a third what we were running at the end of the second shutdown. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know that for Christmas, you guys got these plans and these all sound great, but for Christmas, that falls within our restricted time of absolutely not having any indoor meetings. So I mean, I'm going to be live streaming, and we do have a couple of orphanages that we're helping out. That is going to be an ongoing thing that we've done every year. But we don't have any special. I don't think I'll have my candle lighting service. It's not as effective when you have, like 10 candles in a room, as opposed to a whole auditorium full. So
You just need one, Jim.
just one. Well, we got the one. We got the one, but that's kind of where we're at. So it's a mess out here. There's some churches. Oh, a judge issued a ruling yesterday on behalf of a couple of businesses, and they were trying to get relief from this last order of the governor, and the judge sided with the state on that. So that was. It looks like we're going to be in lockdown technically. I may start a jail ministry pretty soon, from on the inside. So, hey, whatever, whatever we have to do. But we're in a mess out here, man. This is a blue, deep blue state, and hardly any red anywhere.
Yeah. So you're just doing everything online like you have been for Christmas.
Doing everything online and not locking the doors. So, we do have people come in. We have some who, we also have the SEALs out here. So, they're like, you're going to tell me I can't go to church? Watch. And, they come to church. But it's tough. It's tough.
Just have the Navy SEALs as your bouncers at the door and you'll be good.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, Bobby Sharp's on here. I didn't talk to him ahead of time. You're more rural California up north. What's going on in McFarland? Can you guys meet?
Hey, we're helping support him too, by the way.
Yeah. You're muted, Bobby. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay.
Nope. You're unmuted. There you go.
There. Okay. Sorry about that. Hey, thank you for your support, Pastor Jim from San Diego. We are in a deep blue state, and we are a rural area in McFarland. We sit 18 miles north of Bakersfield, California, which has 400,000, and about 70 miles south of Fresno, which has about 800,000 in the metro area. We are meeting indoors. We have a great relationship with our city. I'm in law enforcement out here as well, and I'm not going to arrest myself. And our district attorney and the sheriff of Kern County, as well as several chief of polices in communities, are not going to enforce the governor's curfew or mandates. We don't have the manpower to patrol that type of stuff. So the city is allowing us. We're a church plant. We're in a government facility. And really, it's just God's favor because the city is allowing us, because we have such a great reputation and partnership with them, that they're allowing us to maintain in person. We are doing social distancing. We are providing everything that is recommended: face shields, face masks, hand sanitizing stations, self-checking temperature stations. And so we're trying to do everything. We have what's called a touch-free worship experience where you don't have to touch anything. Our First Impressions team does that for you. So that's where we're at. We talked to our insurance company and our legal consultant firm that represents us, and they're in total agreement with what we're doing. So if anybody comes in from Sacramento, I'm just going to play dumb. I'm going to be like, man, I was in the Midwest for about a week and a half. I didn't even realize we were back in the purple tier, whatever that means. So,
but the tier system out there is pretty crazy. So
as far as Christmas, we're not going to do anything really out of the ordinary. Like Pastor Jim was saying, kind of low key. A lot of our people still don't feel comfortable coming. Some do. We will do a live stream, but we are planning on having a live Christmas, children's Christmas production, and that's about it.
Okay. All right, let's head across back to the middle part of the country. Shane Peters is in Tulsa, Oklahoma area. Shane, what are you guys doing in Tulsa? How are restrictions in Oklahoma?
Oklahoma is still trying to decide if COVID exists. So that's kind of what they're battling back and forth with. When you ask me, what our plans were, and basically, I'm the guy that's trying to stay alive. And so we're hoping to do Sunday mornings is what we're going through. Our numbers have gone up in Oklahoma, but more people in my church have been impacted by it. And so, just trying to keep all the technical aspects and just keep the structure going has been very difficult because it just seems like every Saturday I get the text or the phone call or the email, hey, saying I'm quarantined, I've tested positive, or somebody in their family, something like that. So when you're trying to cover 2 or 3 positions every Sunday, it's just been a kind of a struggle. And so December's not really heavy. We're trying to do a lot of small things, and I understand some of those small things can have big impacts. Just different benevolent, working with, kids that are in need, things like that. And just trying to stay in touch with everybody in the church, I think is kind of what we've been aiming for and what we're aiming for. And so a lot of small things that we're trying to do, nothing really large, just basically trying to still have Sunday morning, trying our best. Our youth is probably our strongest right now. We've seen several teens get baptized this fall, and just trying to keep that operational. But that's a struggle as well. Most of the schools have closed down again because of COVID.
Yeah, the schools are closed down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they went
High
back
school all the way down.
Mainly, it's 7th grade through high school.
Yeah.
So, and they, like some of the schools, they're large school districts. They're not even running buses because they don't have enough bus drivers, things like that.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was hit so hard in that area, Tulsa. So, so are you doing? What are you doing for Christmas Eve or anything like that? Are you just focused on Sunday mornings?
Mainly just Sunday mornings, trying to do that, and then trying to just do small fellowships with people, trying to get people together, smaller groups. But that's probably instead of trying to do one large group events, we're trying to do a lot of small stuff. And when you're just talking 2 or 3 families, it takes a little bit more effort, but it makes a big impact, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Good. Let's head across a state over to a church plant in Oklahoma or in Missouri in the St. Louis area. Chris, I know this is your 2nd year in your new building, right? So gotta love celebrating Christmas when you can't enjoy the new building. You finally get into it. But what's going on with you guys in St. Louis area?
Yeah, thanks for asking me to talk, Randy. Man, miss you guys. Just a quick heads up. It's weird not doing gatherings in person. And so, yeah, it's a weird void in my life. There's a BBFI hole in my life that just can't be filled without you guys. So Randy, thanks for putting this call together today. Great information. So, yeah, we are celebrating the start of our 2nd year. We had our grand opening last December. Before we even knew COVID was a thing. It was in China still. And so so we've been in the building this Sunday. It'll be 1 year. It's been great. We're right off the interstate. And so we've actually had a lot of guests come in the last year, even with COVID. Our St. Louis City is very restricted, but we're in St. Charles County, which is about 30 minutes to the west. And so we're in a very Republican county. And so because of that, we actually have no restrictions. I wish they would have some kind of restrictions just to help us. Is only suggested masks and only suggested numbers under 10. And so it's like, people don't really listen to that. And when you add service times and try to figure out other things, people don't really understand that either. When you ask people to wear masks, they get a little angry because they're very, they're very, very Republican. And so it's an interesting thing, but they're also very unchurched too. So it's a really weird dynamic for us in the county that we're in. This has been a really great time for us to make this statement. We made this statement during our capital campaign 3 years ago, but the church is not a building we drive to, but a movement that we choose to be a part of. And man, you can feel free to steal that statement, but it's one of those things where I think COVID has forced all of us to think outside the 4 walls of our church. We were portable for 5 years, and so we were thinking like that anyways. And we were really nervous about what it was going to be like to get in our own building, to become kind of too established too quick as a church, so we lose our outreach focus. But what's been great about COVID, I mean, we've seen more people accept Christ this year through online services than we've seen in the years past. So it's been really awesome. We've seen over 25 people say yes to making Jesus Lord just through online services this year. So I just want to encourage you guys, man. It's dark days, but it's also great days. So here's the ideas. Sorry, Randy looks like he's ready for me to talk about the ideas. So Christmas in a box is one idea we have, and so we're going to have this. It's not a shoe box; it's smaller than a shoe box, but it's a box with some things inside of it. If people don't feel comfortable coming to services, we're going to drop these boxes off at their house. When you open it up, it's a QR code with the Christmas Eve online service. They can scan the QR code. It'll pop up our website with the Christmas Eve online service. We're also going to give them candles that they can light in their own house for like their own candlelight service with their family. We're going to give them Rick Warren's The Purpose of Christmas and a kid's storybook Christmas like hardback thing. And so I think each box ends up costing almost $20 a box, but it is an outreach idea for us too. So this isn't just for people that are inside of our church. In fact, the main thrust of this are people that are outside of the church. We're also starting a new Facebook page next week called Christmas Fun at Home. And so this page is going to launch. This is like a neutral Facebook page. It promotes our church, but it's not a religious page. And so what this page is going to do is every day there will be suggested ideas of fun that you can have at home with your family, and even community drive-through light shows that they can be a part of and things like that. We're just calling it Christmas Fun at Home. And we're encouraging our church people to invite their spiritually disconnected friends to this page. And then we're going to pepper in the page different invites to Christmas Eve services, either online or in person. So it's a Facebook page is only going to exist for 1 month with the whole intention of just Christmas Fun at Home is the whole idea. And then I just want to encourage you guys to think about generosity at Christmas. I think that generosity is the new evangelism. I've heard multiple people say today the importance of being generous right now, finding ways. And every community has different needs. And so maybe start looking at your community like a church planter again, like as a missionary, and go, okay, what are the deepest needs of my community? And how can we help meet those needs? And so whether that's single mothers, first responders, we all have challenges. We all have opportunities. Leverage those. And even call your mayors, call your city councilmen, and ask them, hey, what are some of the greatest needs in our community right now, and help fill those needs. So don't start a new party. Join in on one that's already happening as a church. And I love Moose, you're doing that, and I love that, and countless others. Again, these are not like new ideas. I guess these are just reminders, and just to let people know, man, the church is not a building you drive to, but a movement that you choose to be a part of. And so also find some great things to celebrate in your Christmas Eve service. Don't make it all doom and gloom. We are the stinking hope of the world. So be a hope dealer. All right. Don't like, they're already down. They're already depressed. I don't think you should give people false hope, but let's be hope givers, man, and find a way to give hope during the Christmas season. I think we've got a great opportunity ahead of us. It's never been darker in my lifetime at Christmas than it is right now. And so, dude, we are going to give as much hope as possible in the next month. And we got 31 days to do this, man. Let's do it. And let's be the hope of the world.
Good. Chris, I appreciate that. I may reach out to you. I'm actually writing an article right now on, I haven't titled it, but how to, revitalize a church in 2021 by thinking like a church planner. How churches how we need to think like church planners in 2021 to kind of get out of this COVID mess. So, hey, we got 3 or 4 more guys that I want to share, and we're running close to the end of our time. I wanted to do all this in an hour. So, not that I want you guys to talk fast, but help us be aware of time. So, Terry, what's going on in Texas? Go from one kind of church planner to another down in Texas. What are you guys doing this Christmas?
So right now there's an outbreak. We had to cancel our services for the next 2 weeks. We have 2 people in the hospital with COVID right now. There's several pastors around us that are sick with COVID. One got out of the hospital yesterday. So there's several churches that are shut down right now. So it's really spiking. The schools open and close. They'll be open for a month and then they'll close for 2 weeks because of COVID. So it's just dynamic. And I guess the thing that I'm learning right now is the flexibility. So hold it loosely instead of tightly. So the wins that we have is Saturday we did a drive-through gift card. We gave people a $50 gift card and a turkey. We were amazed at the people who came through to take advantage of that. People in nice cars that live in my neighborhood, really nice neighborhood we live in, and they're just unemployed, man. And they're communicating that we didn't know what we would have done if you guys hadn't have done this. So it was really simple, no names taken, nothing like that, very discreet. Drive through, get the turkey, get the gift card, and keep on going. And so we did that. We actually did one for Mother's Day that was really cool. We did donuts and flowers for moms. And on Father's Day, we gave away the pizza gift cards and hats. And then we did a trunk or treat drive-through. And now the Thanksgiving one that we just did. And the Thanksgiving one was the most prominent hopping one that we've done so far. We had talked about doing a Christmas nativity drive-through, but then the community said, hey, let's do a Christmas parade. They're going to drive around the neighborhood. So we're joining that rather than compete with them. So that's part of what we want to do. Everybody is sick of COVID. And so there's fatigue and there's creativity, but we can't let our guard down because so many new cases. I mean, one of the guys that normally be on this Zoom call just got home from the hospital last night after being there for 5 days. So one of our pastors that you all know and love just got out of the hospital last night. He was so sick. And people are scared. One of the ladies that's in the hospital told my wife just before I got on this call, how she's in the hospital. She's been there for 4 days. And she said, I'm scared. I don't know how not to be. And so what Chris was saying about being hope dealers, we always call our Christmas season Christmas at Alliance, but really we're focusing on hope this year. And so it's disappointing that we don't. Mark Milioni was going to be with me this Sunday and speak, and I had to tell him last night that we just can't do it. We can't meet. And so I'll be digital, which I'm digital every week anyway, so it's not a big step for our church family. So we've been doing both since September. So everyone just has to go back digital. They don't like it, but they understand it, and it's just not worth the risk. So the next 2 weeks will be digital, and then we'll go back in. We have some fun things planned if we get to do it. So we do our Candlelight service the Sunday before Christmas, and then on Christmas Eve, we do Christmas Eve carols. So it doesn't take as much manpower to pull off the Christmas Eve carols. And I think somebody was saying there'll be 3 of them in the room. So we expect to have, and we probably have 50% of our chairs in the room now. So we're set up social distance. Everyone's wearing masks. We hate it, but we do it. And now that 2 of our people have been sick, one of them was there Sunday morning for just a little while. They started feeling bad as they came to church. And within 30 minutes, they had to go home. And all through the afternoon, their temperature was climbing. At about 7 p.m., I'm like, yeah, you got to go to the emergency room. And so then they kept them, and they're still there. So it's just very dynamic right now. Another thing that we've been trying to do this year, we've been successful at, is help local businesses. And several businesses have closed. But we did, it's crazy. We bought donuts for Mother's Day, and the lady at the donut shop. So 2 things. We're advertising where we got the donuts from. Go help that company. And so the community will rally around that company. So we've really helped 3 local businesses, a pizza place, a little cafe, and then the donut shop, and then a coffee shop. So those 4 we've helped this year just to get it out there. Hey, these local businesses are really struggling. And so we've been able to pull that together. So tomorrow we're going to go buy 25 pies and take it to some of our older people in the church for Thanksgiving. Just leave it on their porch and just show them some love that way. We're working with our local school. We have one of our key leaders works as a secretary for the principal of Friendship Elementary. And so we work with them to help kids at Christmas time. That's primarily where we do it. So we'll be doing that. we try to have a ugly Christmas sweater party on a Sunday. We normally would have done that on the 13th, but no food this year, any of that. So the people will still wear their ugly Christmas sweaters and have fun that way. We usually have some of the families come up and read parts of the Christmas story. So it's a pretty interactive thing that we do. So that's fun. And then we're doing a movie night as well for the parents to drop off their kids so they can go shopping. So it's a parent night out, and it's all done at the movie theater here close to our house. This costs us $100 to rent out the theater, so it's not much money. It's a pretty simple thing to do, and it gives the parents a chance to go. That's what we're doing. Thank you, Randy, for putting this together, man. This has been crazy helpful for me.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good stuff on here. So,
Yeah.
hey, let's get to Phil Housley here in Springfield. Are you in Springfield right now? I know he was complaining that I asked him to do stuff while he's on vacation. So, let's get the violin out and play for Phil. You know, I had to give you a hard time.
Yeah, I'm in Springfield. I'm in my office at home. I took off this week, but hey, welcome from the Red Kingdom. This is down here in Springfield. Trump will be the president for the next 4 years. It doesn't matter what the rest of the country has to say. And everybody with their truck has flags to prove it. So anyway, but no, that's here in Springfield. We're at 50% capacity based upon square footage in the buildings. This year's been sort of a crazy year for me because our main sanctuary, I just had to do a $1 million remodel on it. I had to, no choices, because some windows around the top of our new building were all leaking. So we've had drywall gutted, and it's just ridiculous. So anyway, but the Lord's blessed because we have 3 remaining sanctuaries. So we're in the round audit, what we call a round auditorium now. So what we're doing is calling it Christmas in the Round. And what we're finding here is, just like you, there are militant mask people. What I mean by that, they're fed up with the mask and they're not going to wear it because of what they say is CS, that they've got CS and they call it common sense. And then I've got other people that will not come to church unless everybody's wearing a mask 100% of the time. And so we got both sides. So I really don't make an issue of the mask. But what we're finding is that people are wanting to get together. I've never claimed to have a corner on the market or claimed to be one that set a standard. What I'm finding is that while we try different things, which I love hearing where you are, you're trying to figure out what's going on with your people, where you are, and all of those things are different. What we found is that Sweden, while they were bragging, they started out bragging that they hadn't closed down and they're celebrating and they're doing fine. Now all of the critics are coming out because it's spike and everybody's getting sick, and they're saying, we should have done this a long time ago. Here's what I found about every activity that we do. You run the risk of being the biggest hero and the greatest person to ever hit planet Earth because you made a decision on something, or you end up being the biggest idiot that everybody hates, and you can make the news because you're spreading the virus. Everything that we do, we're sort of taking a risk. It doesn't really matter. One of the things that I've read is that if you're waiting to get back to normal, you're thinking wrong, because you're just trying, and you're missing what's going on right now. So you got to think about right now. What do you need to do because of right now? I have complained about some of the things that have gone on, and I got to thinking, okay, God didn't have me to do this later. God wanted me to do this now. So I need to figure out how to reach the people now. So in our situation, we're finding people really want to get together. So what I've done is we call our Sunday school basically grow groups. It fulfills one of our 3 purposes, grow. And so I've let our grow groups determine their own meeting time. And we want them to do 2 things: to have a biblically relevant lesson and to be an environment to build relationships. So we've let them determine their own time. Some of them meet on Sunday morning, some of them meet on Wednesday, some of them meet on Thursday, some of them met on Tuesday. But I've done, because people want to get together and our round auditorium only holds so much, we're at 200 capacity in there. We have 2 services on Sunday morning, and we do the same exact thing. That means we do worship twice. I preach twice. We've gone online during the second service, and we still engage people online and talk with them. But again, we've run the risk of doing different things. And again, if it turns out really good, you're the biggest hero. If it turns out bad, then why did you make that stupid decision? Well, what we decided to do for Thanksgiving was, because we knew family were going to be together, we said, we're just going to go online for Thanksgiving. So this coming Sunday, we've already recorded it. It will be up and going, so you can watch that online. For December, we still got ladies in-person stuff. We've got different things for Christmas. We're going to have a Christmas Eve service. We're going to open it as many times as we need to, as people keep showing up. We don't want to do it. So we're doing from 5 to 6 on Christmas Eve. If we need to do it after it's full, we need to do it again, we'll do it again. We're just making that known to people. I don't have a corner on the market. I'm just trying to do anything I can. And some of our deacons said, so what are you going to say about the mask? Because masks are required in Springfield. There's a city ordinance to that. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to let a mask stand in the way of me getting out the gospel. If I need to wear a mask and everybody else needs to wear a mask, then our staff's going to have a mask and we're going to present the gospel. Just said, we're not going to make the mask an issue. We're going to make the gospel an issue. So that's what we're trying to do. And I've got a lot of really good friends and pastors here in Springfield. And I love the fact that we can all do different things. All we're trying to do is trying to figure it out. We're just trying to figure out how we need to present the gospel. So I don't fault anybody for shutting down. I don't fault anybody for opening up and doing all of that. You're trying to figure out how to meet the needs of your people along with your community. So I love hearing the stuff that you guys are doing, and I feel for the guys in California, New York, and all of the demands and stuff that are on you. We're just trying to work with the situation here with 50% with masks, and my deacons have said, we don't want you hugging people and shaking hands and around the people. So I sit in the green room, go up and preach, and then I go sit in the green room again. I go up and preach, and I go sit in the green room until people are gone and shake hands and stuff. It's just weird all the way around. But like I said, what they're saying is stop waiting for the normal to get back and figure out how to reach your people now. So it's exciting to hear you guys all doing that. And I love the fact that you're trying to be personal with your church ministry. So we're doing the same thing here. We're just trying to have as many services as we can. And as people keep showing up, we're going to keep having it. And we got ladies ministry that's going on. Our youth ministries, student ministries, just going crazy because they're meeting in person and leaders have masks on. Many of the kids don't. And we just sort of go with it. It's crazy. I haven't given you any ideas for Christmas. Sorry about that. I'm gleaning from you guys. Thanks, guys, for serving the way that you do and for all the work that you're doing behind the scenes just to make it happen. Okay.
Yeah, good. Thanks for sharing, Phil. Hey, we've got 3 more guys. Anthony's going to be the last one. I want to see if 2 guys in Michigan and Ohio can get along together. Because I know Michigan and Ohio love each other, and but you're kind of fortunate because Greg's pretty close to Ohio and maybe favors it. Listen, you guys want to arm wrestle, see who gets to go first? Anybody want to be compassionate? Ohio State's going to be doing really good this year, and then Michigan's going to come in and beat them at the end and knock them out of the playoffs. So,
yikes.
So Matt's just shaking his head. He's real close. He's right in Columbus area. So, Matt, what are you guys doing? How tight is it in Columbus?
Yeah, our governor is goofy, and I think he's taking cues from California. We've got a 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew right now. What he's doing is he's trying to work on the county level. So he doesn't want to shut down the state, but he's encouraging county health departments to shut down. So the church is actually in Franklin County, which is Columbus, And there's a health advisory that they put on last week, which is, or basically a stay-at-home advisory. I've heard that that's going to go to a stay-at-home order this week. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. Most of the people in our church live in Delaware County, which is just north, and Delaware's wide open for the most part. They haven't done anything, but the governor's trying to work on Delaware Health Department to get them to do the same thing. The one thing that I've got to really say about our governor is he's left the churches alone. So he's not put any restrictions on churches at all, except the mask mandate. And we've just chosen to approach the mask mandate because it's so divisive from a Romans 14 paradigm. And it's a questionable thing. We're not going to quarrel about it. We're not going to fight about it. It's an issue of individual soul liberty in the church. We're not going to enforce it. But do what you feel is best in your context. And so because of all that, we're able to operate normally for the most part. We have our student ministries, we have our children's ministries, we have our ladies' Bible studies, our men's Bible studies going on, Sunday school, Kid Point Church. And we are getting ready to go to 2 services. Actually, December 20th will be the first day of 2 services because the one service that we've got is filling up. And so we thank God for that. We're going to do a Christmas Eve service in person, and we're going to do 2 Christmas Eve services, which will be the first time that we've done that. And I haven't decided yet on the live stream issue for Christmas Eve. We continue to live stream every Sunday. When we go to 2 services, we'll live stream one of those services. But just what we're trying to do, more families in our community have needs than ever before. Westerville's a more affluent community, but it has been hit by the shutdowns, and specifically single mothers who are bartenders. Columbus has had a thing, Ohio's had a thing where no alcohol sales past 10 p.m., which has killed single moms who work as bartenders, waitresses in restaurants. So we know that a need exists there. So we're working with a Westerville area resource ministry to identify people who have needs and help with their Christmas needs. Like others have said, we're going to send baskets to members who are staying home because of age and other factors. And we don't want to forget about them. So those are just some of the things we're doing. I know we're tight on time. I don't want to spend a lot of time. I do want to just encourage the guys who are on here. Guys, all of us have been going crazy. I mean, a lot of hours trying to figure all this out since March. And let me just encourage you to, at some point this month coming up, maybe after Christmas, take some time and rest. If you haven't taken time off, if you haven't taken time to care for yourself and your family and your soul and your physical needs, by all means, guys, take some time if you can and get some rest, because 2021, I don't think is going to be any easier. I think 2021 is going to present a whole lot of new challenges to us. And so we need to be rested up and ready to go for that.
Yeah, Matt, I'm glad you said that. I was going to say the same thing at the end. Just take some time this week and some time in the busyness we've all got to slow down some and rest ourselves. So Greg, talk about Michigan. I know Michigan's got a great governor too, and everybody loves the Michigan governor and recounts going on, all that kind of fun stuff. But how's Christmas looking for you?
We still have a lot of the restrictions. The governor, though she has as little power, they've actually said that her executive orders were unconstitutional. So she's gone through the health department now. And so the health department doesn't have any restrictions. So basically they're kind of copying what she has said. So, our restaurants now are shut down again. As far as inside eating, high schools, colleges are no longer able to meet. Inside events for the whole building. If you have a big giant building, you still can only have 25 people in that building. It's not by size, it's by number. And the one advantage is, even though all of these rules are in place, they will not enforce them, or at least punish churches that hold worship services. There was a lawsuit from some Catholic churches against that, and so the courts held it up that they could not penalize churches. So even though the law is there, or at least the restrictions are there, churches could get by with it. And so we've been able to have services, in-person services. So it's worked out well. We keep our social distance, and masks are encouraged but not demanded. But with all the different people we actually have one area. Our gym is a mask only area. So people can walk in, go back in there, sit down, be only surrounded by people with masks, and then leave that room and they're going to be fine. But we have one of our deacons is chief of staff of our local hospital, and he keeps me abreast, and the numbers are going up. It's getting worse and worse. And so a lot of the churches have had to close down for the last 3 weeks. It's been pretty tough. So we may end up having to kind of take some step back with our Sunday school classes and our evening Awana stuff. But as far as Christmas, because of all these things, we can't have any parties, nothing outside of the church service we can have, none of the extra stuff that we have. Because we're streaming our services on Sunday, we found out that our streaming service doesn't allow us to have copyrighted, pre-recorded things. So that limits a lot of our music, our children's program. We can't do a children's program because many of our parents don't want their children on Facebook. They don't want their pictures. And so it's just a lot easier not to have it. So that's going to limit us on that. But we are going to stream our Christmas services on Sunday mornings through December. And then we do have a Christmas Eve service that will stream it. So that'll work out good. And then we do have a community drive-through. It's going to be at our local fairgrounds. So we're going to take part in that and do some things like that. Just looking in the community of what we can do. So we advertise things on Facebook. We're going to drive people into our online events. I've still been able to do a daily devotion. We started those back in March, and people really like it. So at 10:30 every day, I either have it recorded or I do it live and just do a little devotion. So this next week will be on Thanksgiving, and then I'll start into Christmas, and we'll have anywhere from 15 or 20 people watch it live, and anywhere from 40 to 50 people watch it throughout the day. So it's been able to help us keep in touch. So
you do that on Facebook?
Yeah, I just do it on Facebook Live, and so it's more people watch it. I mean, more people watch it than come to our prayer meetings, Bible study prayer meetings. So and we have interaction. It works out good. We do Right Now Media, and I guess Right Now Media now has a way that you can do Bible studies together. Everybody watches the video, and then you can interact. So we're going to maybe experiment with that. But yeah, I think it's actually going to, between now and Christmas, I hate to say this, but I think it's going to be getting worse than it's going to be getting better. Our deacons are going to get together to see what we're going to do. We have a drummer. He had symptoms yesterday. He's going to the doctor today to see if he has COVID. If he has COVID, then we got to communicate. He's got 2 weeks off for sure. But then all of our music people may end up having a 2-week quarantine. That's going to be the difficulty, is the 2-week quarantine. If you've had contact with somebody that has COVID, you're supposed to do a 2-week quarantine. So that's going to affect a lot of our leaders, children's ministry leaders especially.
Yeah, for sure.
And by the way, I am not a Wolverine fan. So
I know you're a Buckeye.
We're not worried about Wolverines. We're worried about Alabama. Not worried. Just looking forward to that game.
I knew you were a Buckeye, Greg, but at least I had to say something since you're in Michigan.
I know.
I say this all the time. I was in Michigan long enough to learn how to hate Ohio State. So that's
that's all right.
Even though Go Big Blue's not doing so hot this year. So
no, they're not. That's good though. Happy.
All right, Anthony. Mr. Anthony Milas, man of a million ideas. Share with us. Yeah, you got your mic. You're ready to go.
God bless you, Randy. You're awesome.
Talk about how strict is it where you're at up in the Northeast?
Just real quick, here's what's going on here. We're not allowed to cross state lines unless you're going to work and back, or your child is in a daycare. But we're not allowed to cross state lines. We're not allowed to be with families from other state lines. And if your family, my churches, our campuses are right on the state line. I have campuses in New Hampshire, Massachusetts. So if you're caught in somebody else's house or you're reported, it's $500 per person, a fine. And they've already started writing fines, by the way. Started off at $250. And a couple of weeks ago, they gave about 300 citations out in a town near us for people who were gathering. Bottom line is we're only allowed to have 46 people gather together in our auditoriums. We're down a couple campuses because you can't rent schools anymore where I'm at, or any of the movie theaters. We are all masked all the time, no questions. If you don't want to wear a mask, don't come to church. And so that's some of the fun of this as far as the restrictions up here. Our biggest problem is, and again, numbers are irrelevant. It's all, you know, we have small auditoriums, but last year we did 19 in-person Christmas services, and I spoke 11 times. And so we run our Christmas services from the Christmas Eve all the way through Christmas weekend. It's the same service, just because there's so many people trying to get in. Just to give you context, again, in New England, Christmas, you know, everybody born Catholic, die Catholic, you know, nobody goes to church except for Christmas time with grandma. So last Christmas, we only had 21 brand new families with kids, and all those Christmas services register new kids in our kids ministry. So there's, you know, for us, it's as much as we do planting seeds and cultivating the ground and working the seed we already planted, it's not as big as an evangelistic outreach for us. It's more of our church coming together during Christmas. And so what we do pre-Christmas is important. And for us, the goal for our Christmas service is earn the return. Just getting, you know, we have a really strong online presence we have for years. And so we have 3 phases. I'll just read our 3 phases, Randy, and we're done. Our 3 phases begin this weekend. We canceled all in-person services, not because we had to, because we chose to, because we're priming the pump, because we are, oh boy, hold on. Of all things, I get no calls the entire time until I'm on. So we're priming the pump for our Christmas services to do watch parties. So this week is our run through with our entire church family, all of our campuses. We canceled in person, and we're doing watch parties. What we've been telling our church now for about a month and a half, COVID is a tough season, but for the church, it gives us an opportunity to do what we haven't been able to do, so we can see what we haven't been able to see. And so we're just throwing things against the wall to see if they stick. And so this weekend, canceled all in person, and everybody's being moved intentionally into watch parties. I want to elaborate on that, but that's what we're doing. We're priming the pump. We did the Christmas shoe boxes for the past few weeks. Again, just getting our minds geared up that Christmas is coming, and obviously to be a blessing. Phase 2 is this. We are partnering with our communities in Haverhill, Massachusetts, and Salem, New Hampshire, where all of our other campuses are now meeting if they can get seats. We've been fully reserved, sold out for the past 22 weeks. Every service we do is at full capacity, whether it's outside drive-in, whether they're in person. And now because it's cold, we're only doing in person. It's a mess, but anyway. We partner with our community, so we're doing a drive-through lighting thing. We've taken our facilities and we've put thousands of dollars that'll be put this Saturday. It's all getting put together, but we've transformed our entire front of our churches and parking lots to a Christmas village. And we're partnering with our community, where our community has all these drive-in spots. And then Granite is like the big premier Christmas demonstration with a Christmas photo booth. They drive up in their car. They don't even get out of their car. It's a massive photo booth. They just stick their heads out the window. It'll be a nice little rim thing, whatever the freak you call those things. But their picture will be in there to be updated and all that. That's phase 2. And on their way out, they'll be getting all kinds of a bag with the Christmas invite, all of that. And that goes on for like 3 weeks leading up to Christmas week, which is phase 3. Phase 3 is 100% online. No way we can, for us, we didn't want to do in-person services. Last year, we were just shy of 4,000 in attendance. And we can't, there's just no way. We're going to take a lot of people off if we put a lot of emphasis inside of our building Christmas services, because a lot of our church family, because that's when our church family comes together, you know, a lot of people are going to be real upset that they didn't get a ticket. So we're avoiding that. We're just avoiding that headache and that conversation and ticking people off. So we're doing a very interactive service with kids in the sermon. The whole service will have kids video. It's a fireside worship segment. Then message part one. After the first part of my message, every leader of the house will be, there'll be something scrolling where we'll be asking during instrument or interlude for dad or mom to read something. It's a letter from Jesus about Christmas that they'll be reading during the sermon to their house. We're also giving instruction on kind of, here's what your living room should feel like. Here's what it should be like. They'll read a special letter. I come back into the next message. And then during that part of the message, we're providing everybody a link. They'll take a screenshot of what they're watching. They'll go to that at the end and they'll download an entire EP. It's a whole worship album. A lot of our Christmas songs obviously are on that, and a lot of Granite favorites. So they'll get a Christmas gift from Granite. By doing that, I go into a closing, which is a candlelight element. We're asking everybody to make sure they have their candle, one candle in the center of their thing. And it's going to be interactive. There'll be things I'll be reading, and the family in their living room will be responding, reading together, just trying to get kids, teenagers, and adults totally engaged in the online service. Not something to watch, but something to interact with. And then we'll go into the candle lighting element. We hope this service, again, worship always goes long. It's never the preaching. But if everything goes well, we'll be about a 40-minute service if worship behaves themselves. And so be about 40, 45 minutes. And again, our goal is just to earn the return. But the watch parties are key for us this year. We hope to have a couple thousand watch parties going on. And if you don't know what a watch party is, it's just you're streaming to your personal page, and your family, your friends see it on your page, and they come into your room. And so the sermon has a lot of interaction. Hey man, tell one thing about the person in this room that you really appreciate, or one thing you're thankful for, or one thing that you remember as a kid getting. And so we're getting them to interact. And for us, the whole idea is this may be the greatest Christmas evangelistic opportunity we've ever had in our church. Because again, for us, Christmas has just been a home thing because, people, they go to their churches around here on Christmas. But this, I think, is going to be a home run for us. So 3 phases for us. And that's kind of what Christmas would look like.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Very, very good. Thanks, Anthony. Anybody have a question you want to ask to anybody that's on here, or a question, and anybody that wants to can answer it?
I'm gonna have to get off because I'm a Georgia guy. None of y'all know who I am except my last name says Housley. My uncle Phil called me in. He said you guys were giving him a hard time, so just wanted to drop in. Thank you guys. I'm new to the game. I just started at a church, and but it's been good to hear you guys. So
he just started pastoring a church in Georgia, doing a great job, and is excited, trying all kinds of new things. I just wanted to be a part of the meeting and hear what you guys are doing, just to let him be a part of the other pastors that are making some things happen.
Yeah, good. Jason, thanks for being on here with us. Good to see you.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all. Enjoyed it.
See you, Jason.
See y'all.
And I would echo what Matt said a few minutes ago. Some of you guys are already on vacation, or you're trying to do a last day or two right now. But I'm obviously not anybody's boss. I encourage you to take a couple days this week. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Do something fun for just you and your family. Catch a breath. Start watching Christmas movies. Do something just to kind of take your mind off of things. And I keep reading all these blog posts, and I've talked to a lot of pastors that are going through depression right now and hard times. So I know it's a real thing. So my heart goes out to you. Hey,
Randy, can I make a suggestion real quick?
Yeah.
This is one of the easiest times, guys, to take advantage of your inner circle for speaking. Everybody's recording messages. I've had 3 of my close pastor friends, because it's good to have other voices lifting up your leadership and how tough this is. And for your church to realize this isn't the only you going through this. And you can invite somebody in. They say, hey, man, this is Anthony Miles from Granny United. I just love you. And Granny United and Parkcrest, man, we are thankful that we get to worship together today. And I just want to honor your pastor. I want to just encourage you today. And as our churches, you know, we're on the same mission, man. Depopulate hell, populate heaven, you know. So it's a great opportunity while your inner circle guys are recording. They literally can preach to both churches at the same time, give you honor, help speak into your leadership, and let your church go, whoa, we're not the only ones going through this. Okay, that's cool. Anyway, it's a great opportunity for that.
Yeah, I agree. Great idea. Agree 100%. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys. I took a lot of notes. I want to try to put it all on an outline and share it. And I'll share this video later on if you guys want to rewatch any parts of it to hear from someone again. Thanks for taking the time to be on. Everybody that contributed that I asked to help out. I know I just gave you extra work. I'm telling you to rest, but I just gave you extra work. So take an extra 30 minutes sometime. So guys, I appreciate it. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for each of you.